Guys, I have so much value for you inside this video today. Not only am I going to talk about my 4 retirement accounts, but I'm going to tell you the differences between all of them. What are the differences between a Roth IRA, traditional, 401k, 403b, 457? I'm going to show you how you can find out what opportunities and investments you have with your employer, and even more importantly, how I chose the investments inside each account that you can use to keep yourself from getting screwed with fees and other expenses. Guys, please grab a pencil, grab a pen. This is going to be a good one. Before we dive deep into my retirement accounts, if you are new to the channel, my name is Brad. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt, save money, invest for retirement, all in the hopes of reaching financial independence. If that content sounds like it's something that you're interested in, consider subscribing, hit that bell notification. You'll get told every single time I release a video or I go live. Guys, my retirement accounts come up all the time right here on the channel with my friends and family and also at work, because there's kind of like a unique situation when it comes to retirement. Every single job has different opportunities and different options, so it's kind of hard to give advice. And also, people just don't want to talk about money. So I'm going to give you the accounts in order in which I fill them. I plan on maxing everything out in 2020, but if I don't, here's where I'm going to start. The first thing that I'm going to invest in, I do not have a choice, and that is the New York State Teachers Retirement System. I am a teacher here in New York, and I am forced to contribute 6% of my salary every single paycheck to retirement. And I will get my pension when I turn 62. I am vested after 10 years. If I leave my job before that and leave the state, I can get that money back pre-10 years with a little bit of fees and penalties, but I am forced into that. And you can see I just had my last paycheck of the year, calendar date. My salary was $107,626. So if we look at the teacher's retirement system, tier 6 is the tier that I am in. I pay about $282 every single paycheck. Last year I paid $6,188 into the teacher's retirement system. That is my pension plan. I do not have a choice. So obviously it's the first thing that I fill. But I've done the math. I don't have any say in where that money goes or the investments, but I do know the amount that I'm going to get once I retire. That's very easy for me to calculate. So I need to live 8 years post-retirement for me to break even on the pension plan. So although it seems like a lot of money, it's almost like forced savings. People that aren't great with money or great with savings, the pension program is really, really good for them. Some people, that's their only retirement savings. And I'm here to tell you, please do not make that your only retirement savings. I think I did the math. It's looking like when I turn 63, it's going to be about $1,800 every single month. I'm hoping that's like gravy and vacation money at that point. Okay, so now the first account that I actually have a say in, and that is my Roth IRA. And actually, with my income, I have to do a backdoor Roth into that Roth IRA. And so people have been interested in what that backdoor is. I've made a video about what the backdoor Roth is, but never really showed, myself actually doing it. If you want to see me work through that backdoor Roth, leave in the comments below that you'd like to see a video like that. The next time I do a backdoor Roth, which will be in the next couple weeks to maybe a month, I'll be glad to make that video, show you the screenshots, exactly how I do that for those people that are fortunate enough to make too high of an income to contribute to the Roth IRA. But I only use my traditional IRA to backdoor into my Roth. And my Roth is with Vanguard. It is VTSAX. Somebody commented the other day, there's no way this guy only has VTSAX in his Roth IRA. Here it is right here on the paper. I only have VTSAX. 100% of my contributions are going right into VTSAX, and that's the same for my wife. And why did I choose the Roth IRA first? Well, plain and simply, I use my Roth IRA as my emergency fund. With a Roth IRA, you can go and take your contributions back. Not the capital gains, not how much it grows, but you could take back your contributions at any time, penalty free. So if I put in $6,000 and then I have a major emergency, I can get that money out. It takes about 3 days to transfer the money back in my bank account, but it covers me 3 days later. So the reason that I fill that first is that it acts as almost my emergency fund. Currently, right now in 2020, the max for the Roth IRA is going to be $6,000. I will max that out pretty quickly. I have some money that I saved throughout the year, and I will max that out pretty quickly and let it grow. I do not dollar cost average in my Roth IRA. If you're curious about that, I'll leave a video down below about my opinions on lump sum investing versus dollar cost averaging. But when it comes to my Roth, I just lump sum. When I have the money, I put it in, and then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. Okay, now it's time to dive into my employee-sponsored plans. So the most popular employee-sponsored plan that you're going to hear about is the 401k. That is a retirement system set up through private companies, all right? So if you work for a private company, there's a very, very good chance that you are offered a 401k. Now, there's pros and there's cons to the 401k, and mostly it has to do with fees and also expenses, which I'm going to talk about with all of these employee-sponsored plans. The one thing about a 401k from which I've seen, because I don't have one of those, is that your options are very limited. Usually your job is going to pick the company that your investments will be in. Then it's going to be your job to choose the investment vehicles inside that plan. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when I show you mine. But what I have is something very, very similar, and that is a 403b and also a 457. Now, 403b, very, very similar to the 401k, but it's for nonprofit companies. So you got your police, firemen, teachers, some nurses, things like that. So if you're in that, non-private sector, then you might have yourself a 403b. And I'm going to get to my 403b in just a second, but I want to talk about the 457, which is what I contribute to first. A 457 is generally clumped with a 403b. So if you have a 401k, you don't really need to worry about the 457, but you might want to listen to how awesome it is in case you know a teacher, fireman, or whatever. You could tell them about this and you could change their life. One major difference, though, of the 401k versus the 403b is the 401k is going to offer employee matches most of the time, where you will very, very rarely see an employee match with a 403b or a 457. And as a side note, even though I don't have access to a 401k, I've done enough research to know if you have an employee match, you have to meet that match. It's free money. It doesn't matter if you have debt, nothing matters. At least try and meet that match, even if your fees are high. Like I said, your company is going to be giving you free money. If they'll match you $10,000 a year that you save that $10,000. They're going to give you another $10,000. It's almost like getting a $10,000 raise. So one of the big disadvantages to a 403b and a 457, I don't have that opportunity for an employee match like you guys do over with the 401k. But I do have that 457 option. The 457 has pretty much identical properties tax-wise as the 403b and the 401k. But the beautiful thing is, unlike the 401k and 403b, once you separate from your job, they call that separation of services, whether you quit or go on to a different company, once you leave the company you're currently with, you are allowed to take money out of that investment vehicle penalty-free. Unlike the 401k and the 403b, which require you to be 59 and a half to take the money out without a penalty. So one of the major reasons that I contribute to the 457 first is because if I were to retire early from my job, or if I was to get a new job, I would be able to live off of my 457 contributions and gains at any age. Now, that's not the only reason I go for the 457. My particular situation, the fees are a lot lower, and the fund that I got in, the expense is almost nothing. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, how do I find out if I have one of these 457s? You really have two options. One, go to your human resources and ask them if you have access to a 457. If you're kind of shy like me, there might be a company out there that works as a third-party administrator. And one of the most popular ones in the country is Omni, especially if you're a teacher. I haven't met too many teachers across the country that don't use Omni as a third party. What Omni does is they make sure that your company, your school is in compliance with the right taxes and IRS codes, and they're up to date. They are awesome. They are on your side. They don't give financial advice, but as far as the setup of these plans, they are there for you. So what you want to do if you are a teacher, you might want to go over to the Omni's webpage. And when you get to their homepage, you'll see right at the top, Employees, Your Plan Page. Go ahead and click that. Once you click that, it's going to ask you what your state is and the name of your employer. Now, if your employer is in there, that drop-down menu, it'll be there. So select your state and type it in. Once you type it in, it's going to show you exactly what you have available to you. Here's what happens when I type in my school district, the Syosset Central School District. As you can see right here, it tells me about the 403Bs, and also it tells me about the 457s. And I'll tell you about this page and how I chose in just 1 second. But you can see my life was kind of made easy for my 457 because I really only have one option. Well, it tells me right here I have two. One of them is the Roth and one of them is a regular. Now, if you're curious the difference between a Roth 401k, 403b, 457 and not, it's the same as a Roth IRA. You are going to put money in post-tax, and that money is going to grow tax-free for life. And the major difference between this and the Roth is that the amount you can put in is a lot higher. Right? With the Roth IRA, we're at $6,000 right now. With this, $19,500. So if you know for a fact that your taxes are going to be higher later in life, the Roth might be for you. For me, I know that my taxes are going to be lower later in life, so I choose the regular option. So what I did is I go into the New York State Deferred Compensation website. The thing I love about the New York State Deferred Compensation and this 457 is the fees are so low. And when you're looking at your fees, you're going to look at two things. One, you're going to have the fee from the company that's doing that investment vehicle for you, okay? So right now, the New York State Deferred Compensation, they're going to take a fee. Then you're going to pay expenses according to the funds that you have. You might have heard this called the expense ratio. So first, let's talk about the New York State Deferred Compensation and how much money they're going to take from me. Every single year, they're going to take $20 from me. They're going to take $10 in April and $10 in October. Guys, that is a low fee, okay? I've seen ones a lot higher. I'm going to show you some horror stories in just a second. But $20, I'm happy with that. On top of that, they take an annual basis of 3 basis points. Okay, so if you don't know what that means that they're going to take 30 cents for every $1,000 I have in there, all right? So for them to operate this, they're going to charge me 30 cents per 1,000, but they're not going to start to take that fee until my account reaches $20,000. So when my account is $20,000, they're going to take out $6. That's right, $6. And also that 20 per year. So when I have $20,000 in there, they're going to take out $26. It's not too bad. That's pretty good fees. And they will cap that at $200,000 or $60 every single year. So the most money I'm ever going to pay them when I have $200,000 plus in there is going to be $80 a year. Guys, that's pretty good. So that's one of the first things I did. I jumped on them because New York State Deferred Comp, they have low overall fees. Now let's check out the fund that I chose inside of this 457. I'm sure you could guess it already, guys. I chose an index fund. And the one I have is the New York State Deferred Compensation Board Equity Index. As you can see at the top, it's a benchmark of the S&P 500. Okay, it's considered a large blend. Morningstar, don't really worry too much about that Morningstar rating, but you can see it's mostly U.S. stocks, top 10 holdings, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Burke B, JP Morgan, Google C, Google A, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. Guys, this is a great fund. And when I tell you the fees and show you compared to other fees and show you how you can get yourself in trouble quickly with fees, you'll understand why I chose this one. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make at not only my job, but all over the place is going with a company of the guy that came to talk to you guys, on your break day or stopped by your lunch period or came during professional development. Guys, those were salesmen. Of course they came to your school to help you out. And they're going to tell you that, oh, they'll help you out. I know this can seem confusing. Guys, just take a look real quick. If they did a do-it-for-me plan, so a plan that they're going to give you, there's an expense ratio of 0.36 on all of these do-it-for-me's, all right? That means you are paying $3.60 for every $1,000 you have in there. And you're like, okay, $3.60. That doesn't seem so bad, Brad. Like, is that bad? Guys, let me show you when you do it yourself and you look for a simple index fund. Here's if you do it yourself. Guys, look, now there definitely are those $3, $3.60, but you can see they're all over the place. The expense ratios are much, much better. And there's my fund right at the top, 0.0198%. That means they're going to take 20 cents per $1,000. So remember, if you go with the guy that's going to help you, they're going to charge you $3.60, which is going to compound over time, as opposed to 20 cents. So if you look at my overall plan, I'm paying 20 cents per $1,000. I'm paying $20 a year in fees, and then I'm paying a minimal amount as far as administration fees. This is the main reason I went with them, guys. I know it can seem so confusing. They put all these things in front of you. Look for a total stock market index or an S&P 500 index, and you will be fine to start, right? You don't have to stay there forever. If you become more educated and you want something different, go in and get it later. But start with the index. Don't not invest because you're worried about fees and you're worried about things like that. All right? If you go with a nice index, the fees will probably be okay. They're not going to be zero. You got to pay the company something. But guys, please don't ever go with the plan where they're going to help you. All right? Please don't. So that ends my third plan, and I'm going to max that out at $19,500 in 2020. All right, so we're back to this Omni page and the last retirement account, which I fill out, and that's the 403B. Now, the 403B actually technically is not considered an employee-sponsored plan. They started off as tax-sheltered annuities, and after some laws changed in the 70s, things opened up, and they opened them up to more mutual funds, and things got a lot better. But before that, you would run from a 403B because, guys, you must learn when you hear the word annuity, get out of there. Run, okay? And we're going to have financial institutions that are going to offer 403Bs, but we're also going to have these insurance companies. Well, how do you know which is which, right? Do you have to Google each one? Right here on the Omni page, there were some red flags that I knew to look out for. If you look upon the top, it says investment types, fixed annuities, fixed index annuities, variable annuities, okay? Those three, if I see a company offering those annuities, I know they're an insurance company, and I'd stay away, okay? So that pretty much cut my options really down to three. I had my Oppenheimer funds, the Roth version of the Oppenheimer fund, and Aspire. So then I really only had to do research on three different companies. And the one that I chose to go with was Aspire because of the fees, but also because of what they offered. They offered some different things that the Oppenheimer funds did not offer me. Okay, now one of the reasons that I went with them last was because their fees are higher than the 457, but they're not high enough to necessarily scare me away from doing it. I did a video a long time ago on why I hated 403Bs. That was because I did not realize that you could find them at a low cost, right? If they get a bad rap, if you can find some lower fees and some lower expenses, you know, that tax deduction, right? That $19,500 that you contribute that's coming off of your W-2, or I'm doing that twice, okay? That's really a benefit. You're going to be making a huge tax savings that will probably outweigh the fees. That's for you to do the math. But we can see with Aspire, they charge me $40 a year, so double the deferred comp, which still isn't terrible, but they charge an admin fee of 0.15% of the total value of my fund. And to be honest, 0.15 is kind of my limit. If it was much higher than that, I probably wouldn't have went with this, and I probably would have went towards something like a brokerage account. But at 0.15 with the tax savings, I did the math, you can do the same. 0.15 should be like almost a red flag for you. If the fees are more than that, you might want to consider researching another company or avoiding the 403B altogether. So Aspire offers thousands of different funds through different companies, and I was lucky enough, I landed VTSAX inside of Aspire. VTSAX performs the same as whether I just got it from Vanguard or didn't. The only thing that's really different is instead of paying Vanguard fees, I pay Aspire the fees. And in 2020, I'm also going to max that out as well. So I'll have a total between my 457 and my 403B of $39,000 of tax deferred money, as well as that $6,000 that I'm putting into my Roth. It's going to be a pretty good retirement year on top of all the other things that I'm going to be investing with. Do not be shy. If you have questions about any of this, get down in the comments. And also, like I said, let me know if you want me to make a back to a Roth video showing exactly how I do that, because I'm now over the income limit. For a more detailed look at my retirement strategy, you can look right here at this video. Down here, YouTube will give you something that they think you might want to watch. And until I see you on the next one, guys, stay positive, work really, really hard, always be kind to other people. I hope you have yourself an amazing day and an even better tomorrow.